Laura Stireman is Director of Carrier Relations and Business Development at Leavitt Group. Before joining Leavitt Select Insurance Services, Laura held the distinguished position of Regional Vice President of Sales and Distribution. Throughout her career, she is committed to fostering strong relationships, implementing innovative sales strategies, and delivering exceptional results. Her experience in managing diverse teams and navigating complex market dynamics has equipped her with a deep understanding of the insurance industry and extensive network of professional connections. Laura is passionate about leveraging her experience and insights to benefit community organizations and is always open to exploring new opportunities for collaboration. Please join me in welcoming Laura Stireman.
Thank you. Well, thanks everyone for having me here. I'm really excited. I am filling in for somebody who wasn't able to make it, so I just heard about this last week. I'm going to try and stay on topic, but I get so excited about insurance that we might go on off a few tangents. But thank you for having me. So outside of work, I've been married for 27 years to Tony. I have one son, Max, 2 cats. I love to travel, hike, and spend time in the library. So let me ask you this. How many of you have thought about insurance as your career? Okay, my goal by the end of this 30 minutes, you're all going to raise your hands. I think we can do it. I'm getting a lot of blank stares, but just hold on. So there's a lot of misconceptions about insurance and sales in general, but at its most basic form, insurance is risk transfer. You're transferring risk from your personal or your business to somebody else. So if you can reframe it in that way, it sounds a little bit more exciting than selling a policy, because what is that and who cares about it? So most of the people around my age, maybe a little bit younger, stumbled into insurance by accident because we've just not done a good job of selling the industry. So I stumbled in. I was in school here at the university, didn't know what I wanted to do, started in nursing school and realized couldn't do that. A friend of mine worked for WCF Insurance and said, come apply. Well, I didn't know anything about it, but I thought, okay. Well, that turned into a 28-year career. And I never finished my degree, so I don't have one. And I'm not saying you should do that because we're here, because you're in college, but it just is another example of a path in this industry that isn't really standard and shows the opportunities that might be available regardless of where you think you're going. So I retired from WCF Insurance as the Regional Vice President of Sales and Distribution early 2024 and thought I was going to stay retired. But I quit retirement to come back to insurance because I wasn't done, and it was just, there's just too much opportunity and work to be done to help sell this industry that I came back. So WCF Insurance is a carrier, so they provide the insurance, and Leavitt is the agency, so we sell the product that WCF offers. So I've come back to what I call the other side, and it's been fantastic. So a little bit about the insurance industry. I'm not a finance or actuarial, but this is one of the most recession-proof industries there is. A lot of insurance is federally mandated, so regardless of what's happening in the economy, you have to have it. And insurance is a relationship business. So once you have the relationships, regardless of what the market is doing, there's always business. And I think if you look into it a little bit, you'll see some companies that do layoffs, but it's pretty rare when you look at that compared to the overall market. I'll also share that the average age of people working in insurance is 45. So there is a huge opportunity on both the carrier side and the agency side. And I'll kind of get into what that looks like, because there's a lot of different career paths you can take within insurance, even if you're not super excited about sales, but you like the idea of insurance. There's 20 different directions you can go within insurance. And it also makes up about 1.6% of the job market, which doesn't sound like a lot, but the largest, which is healthcare, makes up 12%. So it's a pretty big industry, and it's everywhere around the world, and in every state and in every city in the US. So the types of insurance, probably most of you are familiar with personal. That's your car insurance, your home insurance, health insurance when you go to the hospital or you get sick. What I'm kind of focusing on is that middle bucket, business insurance. And that's really where most of the opportunities, for sure there's opportunities in health and personal, but we're gonna kind of focus on business insurance. And that makes up liability. So if you're going into a store and you trip, that's the liability insurance that you would have, workers' compensation if you go to work, and then all different things that we won't get into. So an overview of insurance. So insurance company, they're the ones that provide the product. That was WCF Insurance. The insurance agent is the one that's selling the product that the company provides. And back to what the previous speaker was talking about when you're selling yourself, in insurance, we don't really have a product. What you're selling is yourself, or you're selling yourself and you're selling a promise. Because what you're doing is telling the business or the person that you buy this thing that you can't see, and if you get injured or you have a fire at your business, the carrier's going to step in and pay for it. So when it comes to the middle bucket, this insurance agent or producer, you really are selling yourself because you don't have something. It's not a widget. It's a promise. Does that make sense? So a little bit about the agency I work for, Leavitt. We were founded in 1952 in Cedar City, for those of you from Utah Tech. We've got 250 locations in 28 states. Back to that idea that you can go anywhere in the US. There's a lot of opportunities to move around. And we're the top privately held insurance carrier right now, or insurance agency brokerage in the United States. So when I spoke earlier about the different opportunities within the insurance industry, this is what I was talking about. So, and these are all different types of selling. The broker is where you are selling the product to a client. And that can be personal, that can be commercial, or that can be health insurance. The account manager works with the producer, and you heard the previous speaker, we all have different terms for the same position, right? It's what he was saying was the BDM, that's the producer or the broker. The account manager is the one that's the subject matter expert that then takes that relationship once it's sold and services. Make sure if they have any questions, if they need any information, if they need proof of insurance, that's where the account manager steps in. And then the carrier to the agent is the insurance carrier is convincing the producer and the account manager that their product is the best, and that why you would want to sell WCF over like a Farmers or a Travelers, if you've heard those names. Any questions there? Okay, yeah, Buzz.
Hello?
Oh, I think.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, no.
Do you have a question? Yeah, you go.
Oh, thank you. I saw here the agent and account manager. So what's the different job responsibility of them between of them?
Oh, yeah, great question. So the agent, broker, producer, their job is to go out and find prospects and sell the business. So the account manager then is responsible for taking care of the client once the product is sold. So generally, the broker or the agent, you have control over your business. So generally, an agent, broker, producer is compensated on what we call commission. It's a percentage of the total cost of that business that was sold. So let's say you sell $1 million policy to Big O Tires. That producer would get $100,000 of that. And so your earning potential is really determined by how hard and how much you want to work. The other thing I'll say, and I'll explain why that's different from the account manager to get back to your question. The other thing I'll say about that too is, unlike a lot of sales positions, in insurance, you keep earning every year that policy renews. So you sell it once, you earn on it for the lifetime of that relationship. So as long as you keep that client, you get paid on it, that same amount, generally, every year. So the bigger you build your book, the more earning potential that you have, which is unlike a lot of other sales positions where you have a sales goal every year, and that's how you get paid. You don't get paid on what you've already sold. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. The account manager generally doesn't make commission. They get a salary, but a lot of times that salary is based on the size of the book of the producer that they're working for. So account manager is more service oriented. Producer is more sales oriented. Does that answer your question?
For the individual or for the business?
Both individual and for the business. Yeah, great question. Great question. Anything else before we move on there? Okay. Oh yeah, Buzz.
I was gonna ask, is there more financial upside to be a broker rather than selling from the carrier side? Like, I would assume, would it be more, if you're wanting to make the most you could or sell the most you could, would it be better to be a broker or sell like the policies from the carrier side?
Yeah, that's a great question. So earning potential is much bigger on the broker agent side for the agency. If you like the idea of sales but are not, maybe need a little bit more consistency and safety, then selling for the carrier is great, because sometimes you'll get bonused on it, but you won't continue to build your income with building your book of business. Does that make sense? So with a carrier, you're on salary, and you'll have a sales goal every year, and you'll get bonused on that sales goal. It's still a really good earning potential, but it's capped. When you're a producer, the only cap is how hard you want to work. Yeah, great question. Oh, I just went backwards, sorry. So this is sort of how an insurance brokerage or agency is set up. So you have the client and the agent goes out and gets the client, and that's where the relationship comes in. It's a little confusing here. And then you have an account executive, so you can see the agent has an arrow to the client, they get the client, and then the account executive takes over that client to do the servicing. And then you'll also sometimes, depending on the size of the client, you'll have an account manager. And for the account executive, well, for actually agent, account executive, account manager, previous experience doesn't really matter when we're doing this. It comes back to attitude, desire, I would say a little bit of bravery, because it's a little scary to step in where you're responsible for your own income. But if you can do it, most people that enter insurance don't leave, because it's a good industry. There's a lot of opportunity to move different directions. And this is just an example of some of the roles that are available within an insurance, within an agency. If we had a slide of the carrier, you would see finance, HR, claims, service, legal, underwriting, actuarial. So even if you hadn't thought about insurance, but you're in finance, it's a good thing to at least research before you make a decision, or look at getting an internship to find out more about what's involved before you make a final decision. Does that make sense? Okay. So we talked a little bit about this, but it really is a recession-resistant industry. A lot of people, when the economy takes a downturn, they'll stop buying things, they'll stop going on vacation, they might lower their investment, but they'll never cancel insurance, because it's what's protecting your home, your car, your health, and your business. Like I talked about earlier, it's a reoccurring income. If you're a producer or an agent, the more you sell, the more you make. You don't start from zero every year. You just build on your book every year. You decide your income by the amount, if you're a producer, by the amount of work that you want to put in. 6 figures is really common. Top performers and hustlers, not hustlers as in you being hustled, but hustlers and you're working hard, earn far more. Yeah, Lake.
So what does an intro role look like at your company?
Oh, that's a great question. Depending on what your desire is, for a lot of insurance agencies, an entry role to producer means you just come in and start producing. So you would get licensed, because you need to be licensed by the state that you're selling in, that proves you can talk about the things that you want to talk about. But then generally what they do is put you with a seasoned producer as a mentor, and you just start going out and observing how the sales process works, tapping into your circle of influence, getting referrals.
So is that? Oh, hello. Oh, there we go. Sorry. So is that mostly cold calls or mostly out in the field?
Yeah, it could be It could be a variety of both, depending on if it was you, like depending on what you're comfortable with. I sold for a little while. I don't like cold calls. I like to go out and meet people. I like to introduce myself. And the difference about insurance as well is, yes, you're selling, but really what you're doing is identifying risk and offering a solution to it. So it makes it a little easier to go in and talk to somebody and say, you've got a business. Have you thought about this risk, this risk, this risk? Because I can help you solve that. Does that answer your question? So it also, at the end of the day, with most agencies, you own that book of business that you grew. So should you decide to retire or move to another agency, either the agency you work with or the one you're going to will buy that book. So when you look towards retirement, then all that work becomes an asset. Now, that's not the case if you're on the service side. And the service side, entry level, it looks a bit the same. It's learning systems, it's getting licensed, understanding the product that you're selling. So you don't, on the service side, you don't have that book as an asset, but I would still say, even if you're not interested in sales, take a look at the industry as a whole. Because they're always hiring. And when you think of the average age at 45, if you enter now, by the time that 45 or 50-year-old is retiring, they're going to need to turn their book over to somebody. And so if you step into an agency at the right time and somebody's retiring, sometimes you can take over that book. You would have to put in some resources to purchase some of that, but you're already set up with an income. So I would just encourage you to take a look at that before you make your decision. And then I kind of went through that fast because I just get so excited, but what questions do you have? Personal, business? Well, let me ask you this too, and then we'll get to your question. Have I changed your mind about the industry? You gonna look at it? Really? Like pinky swear? Okay, yeah.
I have a question about what's the art part of the insurance sales that most people don't understand.
The hardest part that people don't understand?
The art, like the artist, like the
Yeah.
art part of insurance.
Oh, gosh, that's a good question. It's a hard question. There's a lot people don't understand, right, about what we do, the industry as a whole, and the policies. Yeah, sorry if I didn't understand.
It's like what's the most common fear that people have when they have hear about insurance thing, and how do you handle it and sharing with your idea and get the customer trustworthy on you? So
the most common area of insurance, yeah, it's commercial. So it's a business. So imagine you're the University of Utah, and you've got students, you've got employees, you've got visitors, and if you think about what can happen in a day, let's just go, I don't want to go too negative, but let's just say we have a lightning storm, it lights those trees on fire, and this building catches on fire. The University of Utah probably doesn't have enough money to rebuild it, right? Because it could be $10 million. But if they have an insurance plan that they've paid for 15 years, let's say, or even a year, and maybe that insurance policy is, let's just say it's $2 million. But then when the building burns down, insurance steps in and covers that cost, right? It's a risk transfer. And most people can't afford to self-insure. Some can, we won't get into that. But if you're new in business or your business is growing, you can't afford to have your business down for even a day. And so insurance, there's products that cover everything you can think of and even some things you can't think of, that will step in and help you as a business owner run your business and not have to think about all those details. Did that answer your question? Yeah, thank you.
Laura, I appreciate your time. I just kind of want to back up everything you said. I actually have my license for life and health.
Oh, great.
Do it very, very part-time while I'm still going through school. But it is a very hard industry to kind of get your wheels going and getting you kind of go uphill just so you can go downhill.
Yeah.
But we have people in the agency I work under that in 2 to 3 years, they're easily over 6 figures. And then we have people that have been in 20, 25 years, and they wake up in the morning and would never have to work again because of those residual incomes they're getting. And they're producing $1 million plus. So it is a hard industry, but if you stick with it, if you kind of endure through the pain, like just to validate what you've kind of shared with us today, it is an incredible opportunity and fun industry.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I will say from my experience, as a producer, it takes 3 to 5 years to build that book. And you know, you got to put your head down and hustle. It's hard. It's hard. There's a lot of agents that do this, and what sets you apart, like we heard earlier, is yourself. You're selling yourself, you're selling a promise. And if you want to put the work in, the sky's the limit on your income and earning potential. On the service side, it's stable, it's safe, it's fun, it's pretty flexible, the industry. You can transfer, right? If you decide Utah's not your place and you want to go to Minnesota, you can find a job in Minnesota. Find a job in Iowa or Idaho or anywhere you can think of. So, yeah. Any other questions? So Daly is with me here. She's a coworker, and I have some printouts there that have a QR code that are a little bit more about our agency and the Leavitt intern program. I would highly recommend, when you're looking for internships, don't skip insurance. There's carrier internships, there's agency internships, so make sure you check it out. Yeah.
Because I'm also a producer in insurance, and working with Laura would be amazing for you guys. So I am the rare person who dreamed about being in insurance since I was a baby. That's a 100% lie. I fell into it like Laura said. Most people do. I've been in it for about 7 years, and kind of like Laura said, I was one of those that liked the dynamics of having multiple things hit me. So again, I'm going to give insurance a plug because everybody doesn't think it's sexy, but it really is in a lot of different ways. And again, if you can get into it young, you're going to be sitting real pretty when you guys are old. So also that. Oh
yeah, there's opportunities to travel. There's lots of incentives. I was able to retire at 53, and I'm back at it because I want to. I'm working because I chose to work. Which is pretty rare. So I'll just, one more plug. Yeah. Just think about insurance. Don't let what your perception or what you think you know keep you from at least doing a little research.
Insurance is not State Farm.
No. And I'll just say this last thing. There are not enough women in the industry. So that's another reason I'm back. When I exited the industry, I didn't replace myself. And so I'm back to help replace myself. So I think that's the end of my time. Any other questions? So I'll be around if anything else comes up. If you're just so excited you can't stand it, you can find me milling around the job fair area.
Awesome. Well, let's give a big round of applause.